Life is many things. Life is beautiful and miraculous, and it's also wonderful. But there is one thing about life. Life isn't easy. Who said life is easy? I don't even know where this comes from. The moment we have our first fall while trying to stand on our own feet as a baby, we understand what pain is. And if you're put in a hostel at age 7, then separation comes to you as an early lesson. So who said life is easy? Well, life is easy is a false statement. It's not at all true. The correct statement should be, life is everything but easy, which means life is everything other than being easy. So time for a reality check. We walk through life refusing to see simple truths and simple realities because we are worried that they'll be too hard to bear, like the loss of a parent or the loss of a friend. But we don't realize that accepting these truths will actually make every day much easier and much more joyful and easy to accept. So I have come here today only to do a reality check for you and to tell you very clearly that there are some difficult truths that we all need to learn and we all need to accept. This is the only way to make your life genuinely easy. So thanks for tuning in. You're watching me on Skilopedia, the place to learn skills for the real world, and my name is Michelle. And if you're ready, then take on these truths. Everyone you love is going to die. As harsh as this may sound, it's time you accept this. The ones you love with all your heart and the ones without whom you cannot imagine a day, one day you may not have them around. And that is a reality. And those that you've been ignoring for a while and have been taking for granted will also cease to exist one day. Think about that day. You'll be left behind with only regret. And you know what? I read somewhere, love your parents. We are so busy growing up that we often forget that they are also growing old. Well, isn't that a beautiful truth? Now what we have is that we have our parents, so let's cherish them. We have our loved ones, so let's cherish them. Otherwise, we'll be left with a rocking chair and a lot of regret. So this is definitely a very hard truth that I've shared with you. And you and everyone that you know won't be around forever. But the good news is that if you accept this truth, you will actually strengthen and deepen your relationships because you will begin to cherish the people around you. You will begin to value them, be they your friends or your grandparents or your parents. We never know that when will we find out that they are no longer with us. So have you called your parents lately? Call them now, and our relationships are the most meaningful things we have in our life, and they must be cherished. Yes, life is not easy, but life is a choice. This is another truth that you need to realize. You choose your company, you choose your career, you choose your spouse, and if you make the wrong choice, then you're the one who loses. But is this an irreparable loss, as in a loss that cannot be repaired? No. What you can do is, you can make better choices now. So what I'm trying to say here is, you need to start making the right choices to live a meaningful life. And you need to accept that life is a choice. So you don't have to go out and join the Peace Corps or end world hunger to have a meaningful life, of course. A salesperson at the grocery store can be just as happy as the CEO of a major firm. So it all really depends on your attitude. Because many times we are too focused on what we don't have and what we want, and this is what makes us feel that our life is empty. So no matter how much we've achieved, if we are not satisfied with it, we will never know how to value it. So think of your life as a bag which is loaded with too much stuff is heavier to carry, isn't it? And a bag with a few useful items is easier to carry. So which one will you choose? Again, it all comes down to choice. The heavier one or the lighter one? Well, you would like to choose the bag which is lighter and has useful items. So this is how you make wise choices. Choose the right bag and put the important things in your life to have a meaningful life. Now this one is extremely important. Accepting this truth will solve 90% of your life's problems. So many people dream of the perfect romance and a perfect partner that will just sweep them off their feet and into the sunset of an eternally happy ever after. I think this idea and this image actually comes from books and movies which we have seen or read. Because movies often show couples as happily ever after. But time for a reality check. How do you feel when your partner does not meet your picture-perfect dreams? Do you feel hopeless about it? Of course you do. And think of your relationship. If you think of your relationship as a painting, you and your partner are the tools, and you have to work together to make the canvas beautiful. This doesn't mean that you should settle for someone who makes you miserable, but what I mean here is that you should be happy with your partner and try to work together with them. You should always expect to put work into a relationship. We can be happy and fulfilled in a relationship, but not if we expect the canvas to paint itself, right? So remember, it takes two to tango, and the same way, it takes two people to sustain a good relationship too. Let's try to be more real about life than being serious about life. Did you hear me carefully? I said be more real about life than being more serious about it. Hang on. Being serious is only gonna steal your joy and make you stressed out about your goals. But being real about your life is going to help you accept the reality and set the correct goals. Take for example this one. Those of us wanting to become famous authors can't just wait and we just want to write some words and then find that, boom, we are the bestseller. No, that's not gonna happen. We have to take the appropriate steps to edit, promote, and publish our work. So most things worth doing always take time and energy. Basically, everyone has to use their head sometimes. So let's be real about our goals more than being serious about it. Sometimes you can work on your goals for years, but not have any good result. But if you have the right goals and you've done a reality check about them, then they will definitely be achievable. Make sense, right? Almost everyone has met someone who does nothing but complain about how his or her life is not turning out the way they would like it. We either just bear it or we feel frustrated with such people. We think, why don't they just change it if they don't like it? But if we are honest with ourselves, we realize that we are not always much better, right? We are also into complaining. That teacher is too picky, her tests don't make sense, I just can't learn how to do that, I have a condition, oh, the boss is just too harsh, I don't like this job. Are these familiar statements? Have you made any of these? Well, the truth is that complaints rarely change anything. And more often than not, they hold us back. So the reality check here is that we need to stop complaining. We need to be proactive and positive. We need to believe that we can figure out a way. Otherwise, we can keep complaining all our lives. And then there would be no one to hear our complaints except ourselves. So the reality check is stop complaining and start being proactive and make positive changes to make your situation better. Since we know that everything comes to an end, we also know that we need to love everything we can in our lives. Things can become so dull when placed into the mind of a person who views life as the daily grind. Things can be really dull if you think like that. But things can become extraordinary if placed in the mind of an imaginative and positive person. Things are beautiful when we take a moment to let it be and to let go. So take a different route to work or take a different route to school. Lie down in the grass and watch the clouds and look up at the stars. Be romantic and be happy. The world will always be magical if you take time out for yourself. So take a day off from the stress and enjoy life. And I hope these reality checks haven't been too harsh on you. Thank you so much for watching me on Skilopedia, the place to learn skills for the real world. I'll come back with another useful session here once again. See you guys very soon. Bye-bye.